for a little light. There it is. Hi, and welcome to Tea with Teachers. I am very excited to introduce a dear friend and founder of One on Campus, Lynne Pedersen. Hi, Lynne, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
What's really funny is I know Lynne from coffee. So I don't even know if Lynne drinks tea. So she is.
Does it count? One of my closest friends is English. I mean, and she likes tea. So.
Do you have tea with her or do you drink coffee?
Yeah, no, I'll drink tea. I'll drink tea.
Okay, very good.
PG tips. I have many a coffee cup for you that each has a story of connection, but we can roll with that.
Well, that is honestly
go ahead.
That is really what when I think of you, Lynne, and I know you when kids are having the toughest times and families are having the toughest times of their lives, that you have this ability to connect with them. And connection, you are no stranger to connection. As a matter of fact, you built an entire nonprofit around it. And I know that we've been talking to teachers and have had teachers on Tea with Teachers, and connection during remote learning and what may continue to be. We know summer school is, and what may continue to be in the fall is really, I wanted to talk to you about connection. And I know you've continued to work with middle school and high school students throughout all of the pandemic. And I was just wondering what you could share about how connection, what it's looked like for you, for the families.
Okay, I'm ready. Well, I mean, and that's the beautiful thing is the reason that you and I are connected is the human connection, right? Like we met, we connected, you are dear to my heart because of you have supported the students in your neighborhood, in your community, in other countries. It's what you do. You support people. So I need to say up front, the fact that you developed JABUMIND and this app, that now you're giving back to teachers because you've given back to the parents, to the students, to the kids, and that you created an app. So all of that aside, everything you've done there, that teachers, the kind of forgotten people on the front lines, had a place to exhale, that you created this app for teachers to have a tool. And I appreciate that you're letting One on Campus come and share this space, because I know you're highlighting that we're another tool, that is for teachers. We are a resource for teachers, because teachers cannot traditionally, if they know a child's struggling, they can refer them to counseling, and hopefully somebody in counseling can help them. They can't say, I really think that this kid needs more. Let me give you a clinician's number. Let me do this. There's too many reasons, liabilities, things of that nature. Let's just talk real, that they can't do that. But when there's a program like One on Campus, so everyone knows, we are a program of connection that can sit on campuses. We do things in the community. And yes, we pivoted and we now have an online platform. So we're available in the community, on campuses, and online for this purpose, to create connection. So we can go on any campus that anyone wants us, but where we are now is any teacher on the campuses where we are can say to one of the kids, hey, have you checked out One on Campus? They have a meeting on Monday night, you should go. One is about a room and a space of connection for, let's just focus on the high school, because we do middle school and high school, and we have some popping up on college campuses, but where kids come together and they don't have to identify by a diagnosis, which I have nothing against. But I want kids to show up into a room, whether they're struggling with drugs and alcohol, eating disorder, depression, academic pressure, or nothing. Because if we're honest with one another, we know life presents struggles for all of us. And so we've created this space where the drug is connection, where human connection, where I can bring together 25 students on a Monday night on a campus, where they walk into a room and the premise of the meeting just starts, we believe in the power of one person connecting with another. And we know that by connecting with someone else, you can alter your life, but you can also alter the lives of those around you in a positive way. And so by creating the space for literally humans to connect. You know, they put down their phones. They're not on their screens. If I use my flagship, it goes between 25 and 35 kids who come in. 10% of those are part of something that we developed called the suspension exchange. It's the one exchange. And any kid on the campuses where we are, it's a caveat. I will not put one on campus unless the school allows me to implement the exchange, which is part of it. So any student that is caught for an infraction punishable by suspension, they can exchange it for coming to 8-1 meetings. The caveat is the parents have to go to 8 parent groups. Sorry, parents. Usually the parents are more angry than the kids. But this is a gift to the teachers, to the faculty, to the staff. Because sending a child home who is defiant in your classroom or brought drugs in the classroom or started a fight, teachers are not meant to be counselors. Counselors are supposed to guide onto college. They're not counselors. This gives a resource to take that child and instead of suspend them so they can go home for 5 days and continue to do drugs or continue to do what they're doing and isolate, again, no connection, at home with themselves, probably not in the best space, to then get behind in school, to show back up on the following Monday, farther behind, more stress. If it was drugs that they got caught for, more of a reason to do them because screw it, now I'm even so far behind, what does it matter? Tell me that doesn't compound the problems for a teacher trying to teach in the classroom. Doesn't add stress. One child can shift a classroom in a negative way, just like one child can shift in a positive way in one. And so I know that one existing gives back to not just the struggling kids, but the kids that aren't struggling, that want to feel a sense of community, that want to have a space that they can say, why did you bring a vape to school? And why did this happen? Or maybe organically something comes up where the cheerleader that everybody thought had everything going on is talking about out of the blue, because we're doing an art project, and somebody says, oh, what is that? What does that mean to you? And it's like, oh, that's my family when we were together. My dad left. And all of a sudden the conversation starts and that connection happens. I mean, I just got goosebumps. Sorry, you guys. I'm having my own interview here with Jill. But the power of human connection can shift lives. And I feel like a cheerleader. I really was in 8th grade, by the way, but I couldn't do a cartwheel, so I wasn't that popular, but I kept going. But my whole basis of my program after 30, at that time, we've been going over, this will be our 5th year. And I spent 30 years before that working in adolescent mental health. I have been integral in the build of some of the 2 of the largest adolescent treatment programs in the nation. And I'm really proud of that. But what I wanted was to believe in prevention and early intervention. What about the kid before he uses? What about the kid when he just started using drugs? What about the kid that's isolating? What about the kids that show up and end up being the shooters? What if we had them all in one room with the quote unquote good kids? Because you know what, where I come from, all the kids are good. And I know I share that feeling with teachers. I know when I'm walking down a corridor and a teacher comes up and gives me a hug because they were able to send a kid to one who felt isolated. And now there's a change. Like, human connection is a powerful tool. And what I want is teachers to teach. For my boys, I want teachers to be able to teach. I want counselors to be able to guide kids on to college if that's what they want, to go to college. And I believe none of this can happen unless we're connecting as humans for cause.
One of the things I really loved about your design was that I always think of, and you're right, why I went and moved to teachers when we really wanted to focus on social and emotional learning, because I realized the teachers are on the front lines with these kids, as are parents, and that triangle where you have administrators, teachers, and parents, and the student in the middle. And if you don't have all 3 corners, there's not a framework to hold and support that child. So I love that you have these mandatory meetings where parents can be educated, because it's not easy. And to have that kind of support, I think is so incredibly valuable. And the fact that it's on campus is so valuable because that's where the kids are. No one has to come back to school. And I know you set up these amazing spaces. So when we're virtual, And we
Mm-hmm.
are, now you have the student more time at home. Maybe the parents are home or not home.
Right.
The teacher is not seeing the student physically. The parents are. What is that? What does that look like
Well,
now in your meetings? I know you've still had very successful turnout
mm-hmm.
for your meetings.
Well,
You were telling me.
it's been amazing, because what we were doing in the community before is the things that we can't say on campus to respect, like in a one room, the kids can say whatever they want. But I like to bring topics that are kind of hot topics off the campus. And that's our community work, like where we did the vape night and all these things where we bring the community together. Well, what was online going to look like? Well, one of the things I am proud of is I feel like one has our finger on the pulse of what is happening. So before the school shut down, that the weekend prior, I had our online platform going. So one on campus, Instagram is popping in the story. Like I really got used to, like I had to get on it. And what we did was in the first week, we had 11 different sessions. We had our normal one meeting where kids could show up. We did a girls group, or, you know, if you identified as a girl, a boys group, or if you identify as male. We did a virtual surf lesson with one of our mentors. We did a guitar lesson with someone else, like anything we could think of to connect the kids. We did a virtual tour of a factory that hadn't shut down yet for the kids at one of the high schools, because they wanted to learn how to make t-shirts and what that looked like. We just think outside the box. And if you're going to work with adolescents, with schools, with young adults, you have to be able to pivot. And that online platform, from the Friday to the Monday, I believe it's like, I don't know, March 15th, 16th, around there. I was blown away by the attendance. Our physical meetings were averaging at the flagship about 35 kids every Monday night. And that meeting that was moved to online, we started with 25 kids. And they didn't have to show up, right? They had an excuse not to come. And they consistently showed up. And then kids would send me direct messages saying, hey, can we do something on this? Or can you find a makeup artist that'll do us something for us? Can we do this? And one of the boys, who is our ambassador, Aiden, he was a water polo star. And, you know, luckily they got their whole season in. But then they were shattered, and they're seniors. They couldn't connect. They couldn't do, and they're meant to be practicing because he's going on to college at LMU, by the way, just wanted to say. He's a great success story. But he said, hey, Lynn, what can we do? I go, we'll do I can't remember what he called it. It was like, it wasn't Splash and Dash, but it was like Splash and something. He goes, can I do something? And I said, yeah. So on a Wednesday night, he hosted a conversation with water polo kids from all over the place, and they had about 15 guys on there, and I just showed up as the logo, but I'm like the moderator behind, ready to pounce, like if something happens. I have to tell you something. I was in tears, which I was in tears, because their connection to one another, laughing, talking about who's working out, making fun of somebody that thought, you know, they could, you know, sit and eat Twinkies or donuts or whatever. And at the end, they were like, this was so cool. I love you. I'm so happy to see you. Like, these are 17-year-old high school seniors, and given the opportunity to just connect in that way, they did. It has been an absolute success. And I also am in a school where the kids are pretty much mandated to come. And there's about 15, 16 kids that come every week. Our first Friday that I did with that group, we had 11 kids. I have to tell you, those 11 kids represent about 11,000 kids somewhere else, that they found a computer that they were able to access. They got to somewhere where there was Wi-Fi. They have a lot of challenges, and they showed up every week. And we lost some of those. Some of those kids weren't even showing up for classes, but we were able to reach them through social media and say, get back on here. And just so everyone knows, at the end of every one meeting, we asked for a commitment for change. And so these kids would make a commitment if somebody wasn't showing up, to reach out to that kid on Instagram and stalk them and get them to show up. And then I had the vice principal come. And so then there were 2 kids, I guarantee you, that were not going to graduate. They were giving up. They showed up, they buddied up with someone, they helped them finish their assignments. Those kids graduated. They were even going to give up online. And us not giving up and creating that online portal, I will tell you, it's powerful. It's equally or maybe even more powerful than the face-to-face. I will always choose the face-to-face, but can you imagine if we hadn't done it? I can't. I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful that I get to share in that. So, I mean, that was a very long answer to a very little question, but it's been extremely powerful and extremely important.
And that is what I have. I mean, look at us right now. I mean, there's connection happening. It is that place where you're not alone. And
Right.
you and I remember the days of the phones where there was no video. You were corded to a wall.
Nothing. Yeah.
and
I kind of miss it, but yeah.
Yeah, this probably makes us, probably.
Yeah, never mind.
Driving was better, but that was okay.
Yeah.
We don't. And then for the parents, the meetings for the parents, how is that going?
Well, that's great. We set it up to do at least 3 a week. And I will tell you, the parents had lower turnout because, their lives were, I'm going to say, assaulted. They had to figure out how they were going to feed their families. Some of them had jobs, some of them didn't. Some of them had to do more. Now you've got maybe 3 kids home. You got to find 3 different places for 3 kids to do their work. I mean, I just kept letting them know we're here. So then our Saturday morning parent group that they can get to on One on Campus, the Instagram, or, they can email me for the link. Candy Finnegan, who has been on A&E's intervention for about 20 years. Obviously her background is a lot more of like the substance abuse, but it's about family and connection. So Candy hosts that with me. So we have parents coming on because the truth of the matter is right now for parents, we want to be able to create a space where if they are struggling, if they want to, let's say, therapeutically strangle their children, or, not knowing what to do because now their child is really still struggling, and where are they going to take them? That they can't take them to a hospital. They can't take them to a therapist. They can't, their kids are slipping through their fingers. The Saturday morning 9 a.m. parent group is probably one of the strongest. And we have parents from New Jersey, from Texas, from California that are coming together to talk about struggle. And then we have some parents that aren't experiencing any struggle like that, but have in the past. And it's such a rich group. And it's interesting. This last Saturday, I think it's because we're moving a little forward to some things loosening. Some of the parents were talking about how invaluable this has been to come to a place to tell the truth. And online allows them that. And because they can't tell their family or they can't tell their friends that they just can't, and that they can come here and do that. And so, yeah, it's a different model, but it's extremely powerful.
Well, and I was thinking one of the things we want to offer on our Tea with Teachers are resources. So would you say a parent, a teacher, or a student could reach out to one to be able to find out information about getting speakers, about forming groups, anything like that? That's they can reach out, and we'll be able to share that in our chat and in our comment section here.
Absolutely. All
right.
Yeah.
Well, our time is almost up, which is crazy how fast it goes. Is there anything else in like our 1 minute that you want to add, Lynn, or before I kind of close us here?
Yeah, what I want to say is this, that, and I think the world needs to know this, that you are who you represent yourself to be, Jill. I will tell you that One on Campus wouldn't have been as successful without you and the Manly support in knowing what the students need. As much as I say we have our finger on the pulse, so do you. And then I want to make sure if somebody's listening and they may not even be a teacher, but talk to your school, let the teachers know that this app exists, because what you have created for them, availing themselves to us, but more than that, availing themselves to a moment to exhale. Like, what you've provided is invaluable. And I just want to be a part of getting that word out, because it's important. And what you've created is truly authentic and beautiful, and nobody else is doing it because nobody else is thinking about it, but you did. Sorry. It's my Jill infomercial.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I'm a mother of 4 kids, and I added up how many teachers had touched my children's lives, and still counting, because my oldest had, I think, probably 7 teachers today. So I think I'm at 190 teachers.
Wow. I didn't even, wow.
It's incredible how it grows. And they are in fact so incredibly valuable to every single person in as are you as a support. And so let's just take a moment to settle in for one last minute time together. You can close your eyes or you can keep them open. You can start to feel your breath in your body. And maybe bringing to mind someone that you feel connection with. And that sense of what comes up when you feel that connection for you. Is it a releasing of your body? Is it maybe a smile in your heart? Is it a sense of gratitude? Whatever it is, let it fill you. Let yourself feel that full connection. And feel it starting with you, the connection to yourself, the importance of being connected to self, and then being able to share that connection with others. And so you are the source. So again, feeling the breath in your body, and maybe blinking your eyes open if they were closed. And we will leave it there for now. And tremendous gratitude for this connection that we shared. Thank you.
Jill.
Talk soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.